Eighth and final race of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup season. We're in Sigulda in Latvia for the final race of the regular season. The European Championships also to be decided before we head next week to the Worlds. Welcome back to Sigulda, everybody, for the first race of this final World Cup weekend. The Women's Bobsleigh going into the second heat. I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me, Leslie Stratton from Sweden. Leslie, got a really tight field here. Top four covered by 700s. We got a tie for the silver medal.
Yeah, very tight race. The top five, really, anything can happen on the second heat, especially here in Sigulda. There's a lot of variance to the tracks, and run to run can be quite different. So we'll see what happens. It'll be exciting.
Romania's Andreea Grecu tying with the world Olympic and European champion, last year's winner here, Mariama Yamanka.
Yeah, and as Martin said, it's a race within a race right now, so this is also a European Championship race, so not only are you vying for World Cup points and overall standings, but also the title of European champion.
So there's the defending title holder, and those two are 300s behind last year's silver medalist. Russia's Nadezhda Sergeyeva has a tiny lead.
Yeah, she laid down a smoker in the first heat, track record. That's always a good day when you put down one of those. But she's got Grecu right on her heels, 300s behind, and then Yamanka right behind her, 300s behind as well.
Yeah. So Nadezhda Sergeyeva could be a first-time winner here. Mariama Yamanka claimed her first ever World Cup win here last year. And Andreea Grecu, like Sergeyeva, looking for a first ever World Cup win. Stephanie Schneider in fourth place, battling Yamanka and the other two, not just to try and win this race, but battling Yamanka for the World Cup title, the Crystal Globe. Our points leader is Kaylee Humphries. She is not here. The American slider is in Altenburg getting ready for the World Championships. Her rivals, though, are here. And the reason Kaylee is giving away a chance of getting this World Cup title is, I'm sure, that funding will be kicked in by becoming the world champion and not by becoming the World Cup champion. And Kaylee's had a season away last year, so she hasn't raced in Altenburg for a couple of years. It's a very, very important weekend for her. So that leaves us with 12 sleds in the field, and the top four, that's where the medals are going to come from, you would imagine. They're covered by 700s. Fifth place, Christina Brown of Canada, 2400s back, and a degree of that because her brakewoman mistakenly sat up on the second long straight coming down to the Finnish Kreisel and hauled on the brakes. So a lot of that 2400, so I mean, she was definitely in a top three contention until then, so that was a costly error, but she will go again in the second heat. So here's our start list then. We'll go from 12 down to 1. Melanie Hassler, the World Cup rookie, just 500s behind her teammate Martina Fontenev, who had a bit of a shocker. Anna Kohler of Germany, Anne van Nieuwenhuis, Lubov Chernik, Elena Osipenko. That's a very close battle. Then a little step up towards Katy Bile, another step up to Christine de Bruin, and our top four. Final World Cup race of the season, and first off is Switzerland's Melanie Hassler, the 21-year-old rookie. Martin Haven and Leslie Stratton in Sigulda, Latvia, watching the action.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a Swiss battle going on right now in the back of the field here. The first two sleds are both Swiss sleds, separated only by 500ths of a second. So yeah, it's just a race within a race, another race within a race, a couple races.
Yep, well, Melanie Hassler raced here last month in the middle of January. They had Europa Cup racing, that's the junior division of sliding here in Europe, and she took silver medals in one of the races there with her brakewoman Yasmin Naif.
Yeah, she's looking pretty good so far. I think this is a bit smoother than her first run.
Yeah.
And she should be really happy with how it's going.
Much less skiddy, much higher speed as well, 112.2. We will see quicker sleds, but this is really throwing down a challenge to teammate Martina Fontenev. They were only 500s apart, skids across the line, 51.4, 2300s quicker.
Yeah, a little bit less skiddy there at the bottom as well in those key sections. The exit of 11, exit of 13 were much smoother than her first run.
Maybe those first run nerves were put to bed, and she got a good second trip down. Big smile from Melanie Hassler of Switzerland.
Yeah, she should be really excited. That was a nice run, and she'll be looking to move up on this run and have those two runs put together.
Well, 10th place was only 700ths away from her in the first heat, so it's quite possible that she might be in the leader's box for a sled or two. Equally possible her teammate might pull out a slightly less disappointing run. But Melanie Hasler, welcome to the World Cup, her first ever World Cup start.
Yeah, congrats.
Teammate next up, and this is Martina Fontenev with Nadia Pasternak. 23rd World Cup race for Martina, the 33-year-old veteran. She raced here once before in Europa Cup as well, but that was back in 2016. Almost everything she knew then, I'm sure, will have been pretty much forgotten before the beginning of this week. So 6 training runs and then 2 heats in the race. It is a very sharp learning cycle. Well, they outstarted their teammates by a 10th, 5:37 in the first heat. Let's see if they can go quicker again. 5:36, a little quicker, so they've got time in the bank.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the ice holds up in between those 2 runs. Our first Swiss sled went faster than the first heat by about 2/10, so we'll see kind of how it holds up to these next couple sleds.
Getting that big hit in turn 4, out of corner 6. It's just busy, busy, busy all the way here, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of anticipation building into this curve right here, curve 11. It's really where you have to hold it off.
Holy cow. She
stressing
nearly rolled it into 12. I don't know how that came back.
Man, 1700ths of a second up, though. We'll see if she can hold that on the way down.
Surely she'll have lost the speed. 121 to 122.8 to Melanie Hasler. I'm not sure she's going to be in front. 1600s. Wow. Yeah. However,
stressed out.
Coach Christoph Langen, who'll be watching down the track, will have had his heart in his mouth. Martina banging ahead there. She knows that she could have done better in both runs. She was lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, she put together a really nice run up until then, honestly. So I'm sure she wants that back, but she should also be pretty excited with how the first half went.
So again, late out of 11, but even later this time, almost rolled it into 12, landed on the bunks, and that's the only reason it came back down on its runners.
Yeah, that weight shift in that short wall, where you're definitely friends at that point.
And brakewoman Nadia Pasternak had that nervous laugh after the first heat when they nearly crashed, but it wasn't as close as that.
Yeah, as a brakeman too, if she felt that and she kind of shifted her away, then MVP award goes to her for sure.
Okay, so narrow escape for Martina Fontenev, our current leader. Next up, Anna Kola, and former bobsledder turned skeleton athlete turned bobsledder. Are you going back to bob, by the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Follow that career path. Tamara Sia is her brakewoman. Tamara making her first World Cup start since racing with Stephanie Shurek in Sochi in the pre-Olympic event.
As a skeleton athlete in the back of a bobsled too, you can have a lot of fun back there. Just kind of, you know where the curves are. You've seen the ice. You've seen what entrance and exits look like. I remember when I was back there, I'd always practice my steers as I felt pressures and stuff as the sled was going down.
Started as a bobsleigh brakewoman, a couple of years in the skeleton squad, and then back to bobsledding.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps as long as a brakeman too for your driver.
Right, Anna Kola's in real trouble here. 1200s behind at the start. Is now a quarter of a second behind. Now, obviously, there was that big incident for Martina Fontenev, and so as a result, she's got a little more speed in the bank. The FES sled should be quick enough at the bottom. 122.7. How close is this going to be at the line? She's going to be behind. She is behind. Martina Fontenev on the right moves up a spot. Anna Kola, who was a regular part of the German World Cup team last season, struggling to gain that form again.
Yeah, actually a bit quicker run than her first run time, so clearly there's still something left in the ice there. But it does speak to the Swiss sled, who really put together a good top of the track.
Yeah, Kola with a couple of skids, and it's almost impossible to get down here without skidding and hitting. Let's take a look here at the exit of 11. Well, she's holding it low there to avoid the roll, but maybe that's just cutting a bit too much ice. Stefan Bosch there, overseeing proceedings. Back with the German squad. Next up for Belgium, Anne van Nieuwenhuis, who will be in the booth tomorrow evening to call the first of our pair of two-man races. Sarah Ertz in the white jacket at the back, nursing an injury here. So Kelly Van Pettigem, who's been the spare all season, she's done lots of training runs, has not had a race run, having her first ever World Cup race after getting battered and bruised in the crashes with Loes Hobrecht in the Junior Worlds last weekend. She wasn't entirely healthy either.
A really fun place to have your first race, especially as a brakeman. The pressures here, I can imagine, are really fun, or not fun, I guess, in the back of a sled. So definitely fun, though, in some capacity.
Well, the problem is every time they get slapped against the wall where the brake woman sits in the back of this particular sled, the sled comes in. Man was telling me yesterday it really belts them in the hips.
Oh, fun times. I can imagine right there is a fun one.
Yeah. And of course, it won't have been bruised at all in training or in the crashes last week, so you're just adding injury to injury. Big skids.
She started to point it straight there at the exit, so hopefully she can keep doing that the rest of the run.
Over the hill and into corner 16.
122.9 at the bottom, fastest speed, just 100th behind there. Very close.
And tough break for Anne, she'll be disappointed with that. The Swiss stay in the leader's box by 100th of a second. And any one of those taps or skids would have taken more than that out of the sled.
Yeah, she went about 1500ths, I guess, faster than her first run. So we're looking at exit of 13 right there.
Yeah.
Little pull off into the luge ramp.
That's the hard hit, isn't it?
It is. And then exit of 14 here, a little bit of a skid. Like I said in the first heat, sometimes driving into the wall, getting those runners straight is more effective than just trying to point it straight.
On to World Champs indeed. They leave here on Sunday to head to Altenburg. Next up is Russia's Lubov Chernik. Lubov finished just off the podium last year here in 4th place. Brakewoman Yulia Belemesnik behind her. Her 27th World Cup start, Yulia, her 11th with Lubov. So she has pushed this driver now for all but 3 of her World Cup races.
I can imagine that creates a really nice teamwork, a bit of a bond there.
It's a great dynamic, isn't it? You know, they live together, work together.
Yeah, a lot of trust involved too as a brakeman, especially obviously your driver is your life's kind of in their hands, so to have that bond is really important and very helpful.
Now Lubov only 300s behind teammate Elena Osipenko, who will be on the ice next. 100th ahead of Martina Fontenev.
Yeah, she's putting together some really nice lines up here, a couple skids, but all in all, really nice, really smooth.
Well, this is the Russian home track. Despite the presence of Sochi, they still do more pre- and post-season training here. It's cheaper to ice, and she's gone from being level to being back in front. 500s up, speed is good.
Yeah, that 112.8 speed at the last split should really help her.
Anne van Nieuwenhuis has the top speeds down the track at the moment, and she's in the lead by 400s. So 3 sleds there. Lubov Chernik, Martina Fontenev, and Anne van Nieuwenhuis covered by 500ths of a second. And she removes the Swiss from the leader's box.
Yeah, second fastest push time so far this heat as well, and a bit faster than her first heat, so that's great improvement.
Which found another 1700ths of a second in this second run.
Yeah, we're looking at exit of 14 here, which has been a bit of a problem area for these bobsleds with some skids happening. She pinned it on that left wall, had a little bit of a drift, but had a great entrance into 15, and she got rewarded for that.
That's not a misleading camera shot, that is very much an uphill run there. So Lubov Chernik, your race leader. Lubov Chernik, Martina Fontenev, and Van Nieuwenhuis, the top 3 with 7 sleds to go. Russia in the leader's box, Russia on the start line. This is Elena Osipenko with Yulia Shokshweva, the brakewoman. Osipenko, the 2019 Europa Cup champion. This is her 5th World Cup race, the 26-year-old.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a race within a race again here with the 2 Russian sleds that are only separated by 400ths of a second between the first heat times.
So 5:45 getaway, couple of hundreds quicker than their first start. But the momentum is not there, only the 5th fastest off the 2nd fastest start.
A bit of a tap going into curve 4 and a bit of an abrupt entrance into 6, but she's handling it really well through this labyrinth section into the big curvy hairpin.
Had 300s over Lubov-Chernik, 700s behind now. This is one error away from being in the lead. She was late there.
Yeah, pointing it straight down the straightaway in this little negative G section into curve 15.
Top speed as well, 113 kilometers an hour. Here she comes, big skid into the long Kreisel, 270-degree finish corner, 300s in the lead. The downtime exactly to the 100th of a second, the same as Lubov-Chernik. So the 300 she had halfway through after first heat, that's what kept her in the lead.
Yeah, that bit of a faster push time too was helpful for her. The 200ths of a second really equaled to the faster time at the bottom, and hundreds are huge in bobsled and skeleton.
Yeah. Tight stuff between the two Russian girls. Big skid going out onto the Kreisel kind of helped.
Yeah, fastest speed so far, she was 123.6, which is big speed.
Here you go, skidding over the top as the sled goes light. And that sort of backed her into the Kreisel. She had just enough speed in hand, though. Dives for the line to take the lead.
That white sled.
Yeah, little hearts on the back of Julia Schockschweber's leggings there, or on her legs. So next up, Katy Beil of Austria, 6th after the first of our 2 heats, and she has a 900ths of a second lead over our current leader, Elena Osipenko.
Yeah, compared to the other gaps, the 900ths of a second lead is actually pretty big, so
yep.
She'll be looking to capitalize on that.
Well, 5 to 15 is the business part of any field, isn't it, where gaps in single digits of hundreds normally. 2nd fastest getaway off the 2nd fastest push. They've got good momentum.
Yeah, 100ths of a second faster than their first push as well, and that'll be really helpful. 100ths are
wow,
really helpful.
And she's tidied up the first few corners out to 2500s ahead of Elena Osipenko, out to 3/10. Wow, great run so far from Katy Beil of Austria.
Easily the smoothest line we've seen through curve 11 this entire day. She should definitely be rewarded at the bottom here. Little skid, but she's still got the speed.
Bronze medalist in last year's European Championship. She's not going to do that here. Long double skid down the straight into 16. Only the 6th fastest speed. Still hangs on. 51.13. And in the first heat, that would have left her a spot forward in 5th place.
Yeah, she's excited. You hear the little scream there.
I think they're excited with their start as well, her and her brakewoman, Jennifer Onosanya.
Happy Valentine's Day.
There's Benny Meyer, her Austrian teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really neat. The 3rd time split, she was 3/10 behind, and I'm sorry, 3/10 ahead, and it was only a little over 2/10 at the bottom. But when you have such a great top and you make a couple mistakes at the bottom, it's okay, and you're rewarded for the great lines and the great push.
Skidding sideways up the hill and over the brow, and in all sorts of trouble coming into that long 270-degree Kreisel finish turn. There's Jennifer and Katy Beil. So 5 to go, and the Germans are waiting behind the scenes as Canada's Christine de Bruin and Kristen Bushnowski come to the line. Now, Kristen popped up early in the run, well, late in the run, but too early, and pulled on the brakes before they got to the Kreisel. She will be very, very cautious to wait for Christine to shout this time. Let's see what they've got in the start. Can they move up? Potentially, if they have a huge run here, there is a chance of a medal.
Absolutely, and that little mistake on the first heat will really fire them up, especially at the start. You can see that by the tied push time to their first heat.
Yeah, they matched that. That was the 2nd fastest start of the competition. And this is tidier again from Christine early on.
Yeah, 1300s ahead is a pretty big margin. It's the 2nd biggest we've seen so far, so hopefully that'll keep translating all the way down in speed.
She's got good control, 100.4, equal top speed to Anne van Nieuwenhuis.
Still in the green going through curve 13, and she got through 11, which can be a bit of a problem.
Well, she's not building as much of an advantage as she like. Double tap there into 14, into 15, and over the hill into 16. She turns and yells at Kristen, who's not moving until she hears the magic word break. So 51.07. That's 1600s quicker than their first heat.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that fired them up again from the first heat. And yeah, they did their job second heat, 100%.
Coach Graham Richardson there at the front of the sled. They'll be buying a big case of beer for the track workers who have to repair all the damage from the brakes.
Yeah, really nice load there too. Really smooth, really nice going into curve one, which gives Christine a lot of time to grab into the D-rings and really get comfortable in the sled.
Again, late exit, flopping off 14 and skidding all the way down the straight.
Yeah, those pictures are awesome. You can kind of see the back of the sled, how flexible it is, and the awesome technology that's in the sled too.
Where's the leaders box? It's over there around the corner, wedged in this tiny finish area at Sigulda. 4 to go, and this is the battle for the Crystal Globe. Our World Cup points leader is Kaylee Humphries. She is not here. Stephanie Schneider is second in points. Mariam Jumanka third in points. Christine de Bruin fourth in points. Schneider is 30 points ahead of Jumanka. Jumanka has to beat her by 3 clear places to take the Crystal Globe.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting from first heat. 700ths of a second separates the German from the Russian, who's in first, and then obviously what Martin was talking about with the points race. It'll be really good here at the bottom.
Schneider rolling neatly through these first corners, almost like it's the 4S bends in Koenigsegg. Really stitching those together nicely.
Yeah, the top's really a rhythm section, and if you can get that rhythm flowing by the time you get to this big curve 11, you're going to be in the green.
Well, it's not about Christine de Bruin, our current leader. She was a quarter second out of the medals from the first heat, a quarter second off the lead. Schneider has not built much of an advantage. Christine de Bruin came down in 51.07. Schneider is going to be close to that. Will she be quicker? New track record. Wow, here we go. Well, she and Lisette Turner pulled out even more speed at the start. They were only 400ths off the start record, and it's a new track record. Stephanie Schneider knows what's at stake here, not just a medal, but her first ever Crystal Globe as the World Cup champion.
Yeah, she just threw down. She really closed that gap, and yeah, this should set her up really, really well with the next couple sleds coming up.
Now, Schneider leads with 3 to go. Fourth may not be enough. Third, guaranteed, she will be the World Cup champion no matter what this woman, Mariam Jumanka, can do. Jumanka is the reigning World Cup champion. She's our Olympic champion. She's last year's World and European champion as well. Elena Nolta behind her. And this is the scene of her first ever World Cup win in last year's season opener. She hadn't won in the World Cup up until then. And right now, she could do with another victory.
Yeah, that confidence is huge, too, to build on from last year. And if anyone's going to challenge the other German, it's going to be this German.
So let's see what they can produce. The start in the first heat was 5.40. They need to shave 100th or 2. 5.37. There we go. We're getting close.
Big 300ths of a second shaved off at the start. Big, big, big.
And she needs a track record. She was only 400ths ahead of Schneider. She's a whisker behind.
Yeah, shout out to the track crew for keeping the ice so nice. It's incredible to have the same consistency between the 2 runs.
It's been a bit of a cloudy, humid day, but the temperature is really dropping, and that's helping as well. But the track here has been great all week. 100.1 Ks, not quite as quick as Schneider. The gap is growing.
700ths of a second back, and it's not gonna help.
Same mistake as in the first run. Top speed, will she get it at the line? Is she in front? She is not. Schneider is the World Cup champion. Mariam Jumanka will hand over the Crystal Globe to Stephanie Schneider. Schneider is in the medals, 2 to go, and Jumanka is in second spot.
Wow, close. This is so close. Obviously happy for teammate in the race within the race, but I know she probably knows where she lost it, and she wants it back.
Not from the top draw. That was a 10th slower than her first heat. Well, here she gets a little out of line down the straight, not too major, but it's going into the Kreisel. Big height off 15, long skid into the Kreisel, and that may have been what did for her there. You saw all the runners fully sideways. They are rounded and polished, but they still create drag. Well, she's had a smile on her face all season, even if the results haven't quite followed last year's career trajectory. 1 win so far this season. If she claims another one in Altenburg, she won't care. Stephanie Schneider leads from Mariam Yamanka with 2 to go. And we get to Romania and Andrea Grecu with Iana Gheorghe. Grecu, the Europa Cup champion, won both races here in that class in January. Can she win here? Can she get in the medals? Start record 5:29. That is astonishing.
Oh my gosh, that is not gonna hurt her on the way down. That is way quick.
Well, who she beat for the start record? Mariam Yamanka and Annie Dracek.
Man, they are fired up. I love it, I love it.
Well, she's still in the lead over Stephanie Schneider, 11 hundredths of a second. She's built on her first round advantage. Andrea Grecu has raced on this track 2 weeks ago and won twice. Just think how high her confidence level is.
Let's go, 112.5 speed going into the big curve 15 of these.
Straight into the Kreisel. This could come down to the 100th of a second, and at the line, she's got a new track record, and she is in the lead with 1 to go. Paul Niagu may well be in the early stages of a very major hangover there. It's her first ever World Cup medal as a driver. It's a first ever for Iana Gheorghe.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day. Let's go.
Wow. That is huge, huge, huge for Romanian bobsledding.
Yeah, and best coach celebration of the day definitely goes to the Romanian coach. That was very entertaining to watch. A little bit of a skid here, but it didn't matter. She held her speed really well from her amazing top section, and yeah, she was really rewarded by that at the bottom. She should be really stoked.
Well, her brakewoman only started bobsledding in November. It's only her second World Cup race. And there is Andrea Grecu, our race leader. So what about this then? Whatever happens now, in the next minute, we will have a first-time winner. It will be either our current leader, Andrea Grecu of Romania, or this woman, Nadezhda Sergeyeva of Russia. Either way, somebody is going to be heartbroken because they're going to end up shortchanged.
Yeah, when the person ahead of you throws down a start record, it's really either motivational or you're like, oh, I have to do it. You have to do it. You don't got a choice.
Well, a start record and a track record from Romanians. Here we go, Nadezhda Sergeyeva and 25-year-old brakewoman Elena Mamedova. It's this for gold.
5:33 start, which
so
is...
they've lost their first round advantage. Now she has got to outdrive Grecu.
This is true, a bit faster on the start than the first heat, so clearly they're fired up, but she's got to put it together on the way down.
Silver medalist last year, beaten only by Mariam Yamanka, who was then the newly crowned Olympic champion.
Holding that 300 seconds back from the last time split. We'll see how she holds it together at the bottom.
She's gonna need a track record, isn't she? She's late there, she is just hanging it out. Everything for victory. Tying with Romania. Now that would be a great finish. Both of them taking the gold medal would be a fantastic story to round out the World Cup season, and 200's in the lead. A first ever win, 100th off the track record, just set a minute ago. And her brakewoman has just lost her mind. They've gone flying off into the darkness here in Sigulda. A first ever World Cup win for Nadezhda Sergeyeva.
Yes, it's so exciting. The last couple of sets were so exciting. Clearly they're excited, everyone's excited.
It is her 47th World Cup race, her 43rd as a driver, and Nadezhda Sergeyeva is our newest race winner.
That's awesome. She really let it fly there at the bottom and really speaks to her driving skills here, and yeah, super excited.
Well, her teammates, there's Elena Osipenko and Yulia Shokshweva, Yulia Belemesnik, and Lubov Chernik there with a huge grin on her face.
Yeah, it's so much fun to have your teammates there at the bottom and to get to hug them, congratulate them, and they had a great race as well. So.
And Andrea Grecu, start record, track record, first World Cup medal, it's a silver. She may well end up winning races in the future. She was so close, but what a day for Nadezhda Sergeyeva of Russia. She loves the hard drivers' tracks, and she is going to be so fired up to go to one of her real favourites for the World Championships in Altenburg, because she has just claimed her first ever World Cup win.
Yeah, it's incredible. Really big congrats to her. And like Martin said, this will really set her up well with some confidence going into Altenburg.
Look at the reaction from all of the Russian team there. Fantastic stuff. 200ths of a second in it. Stephanie Schneider in third place. She gets a medal and she wins the Crystal Globe for the first time in her career. She is the World Cup champion ahead of Mariama Yamanka, and Christine de Bruin will move into third place in the standings ahead of the absent Kaylee Humphries. So a real nerve-jangling end to the Women's World Cup season.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better finish there. That was very exciting.
Well, there, high above the finish, you can see the elevated start of this roller coaster ride. Those first couple of corners, particularly the big sweeping right-hander of turn 1 and turn 2, the left-hander, are high up in the air, aren't they? You can drive an articulated lorry in any number of things under there. There's so much ground clearance. As you say, you go up 5 stories in the elevator to get to the start.
Yeah, when you pull in and you look up at the start and it's on stilts, yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
That was a new one. It's awesome, though. It's an incredibly pretty track, and as you can see at night, too, it's really, really fun to watch sleds here.
Well, it's very much a home track for the Russian athletes, and a great place for Nadezhda Sergeyeva to claim a win. Actually, I was talking to Vladislav Heriskevich after skeleton training yesterday, and he was saying this is his home track as well. This is where he first slid, where he learned how to drive. He said after Sigulda, he said, I'll go straight off the top in Whistler. Nowhere scares you. Doesn't it can't be as bad as Sigulda. It's a hard track to drive physically, particularly for skeleton. It's pretty bruising, but yeah, when you get that good run going, and he's had a couple of good runs in training as well, then yeah, it could be highly rewarding. So for the Russians, Nadezhda Sergeyeva claims the win. Osipenko just ahead of teammate Chernik by 300ths of a second over 2 runs, and they finished in 7th and 8th. But a big day for Nadezhda Sergeyeva and for Andrea Grecu as well. First World Cup medal for her. So a big result with the silver, and Stephanie Schneider gets the bronze, which is her 4th bronze medal of the season. 1 silver and 1 gold she won in Winterberg. The World Cup Crystal Globe in women's bobsleigh has been won by Germany's Stephanie Schneider. Only twice this season has she finished off the podium, never out of the top 5. And bronze here was enough to defeat Mariama Yamanka, the reigning champion. Christine de Bruin moves up to 3rd ahead of the woman who had the points lead coming in here, but who is busy training for the World Championships, Kaylee Humphries. So the American slider will finish 4th in the World Cup standings. Well, that was part of the story coming in here. The other part of it really developed as the race progressed. First round leader with a track record, Nadezhda Sergeyeva of Russia. Top 4 covered by 700ths. Leslie, it was always going to be a very close run thing, and it turned out exactly that way.
It was true to Sigulda form, a little bit of everything here. You never know, there's so much variance between 2 runs, and just what we thought, the excitement happened, and they put on a great show tonight.
And in the silver medal position, Andrea Grecu, who walks away with the first World Cup medal with a brand new start record and a brand new track record from the 2nd heat as well. But the emotion clear for brakewoman Elena Mamedova, but especially for her driver, Nadezhda Sergeva. A huge, huge day for the Russian driver. Last year, she was the silver medalist behind Mariama Yamanka. This year, she won it from the front, and Yamanka finishing out of the medals in 4th position. So that is the end of the World Cup. But we go next week to start the World Championships in Altenburg in Germany. 2 weeks of racing there for bobsleigh and skeleton. The women and the two-man competing in the first week, and then skeleton and four-man in the second week of the championships. So there is the result of today's race, and there is your podium on the right-hand side. Elena, Lisette Turner rather, and her driver hiding behind her muff as ever is Stephanie Schneider. On your left there, on the far left, is Ioana George and her driver Andrea Grecu. And in the centre, on the tips of her toes, as she should well be, with a huge smile, Nadezhda Sergeva and Elena Mamedova. So congratulations to all of our medal winners here. Some very big smiles. A first-time World Cup, World Cup champion, a first-time winner, and a first-time medalist. So that's it. So from Leslie Stratton and from me, Martin Haven, thank you for joining us. We will be back first thing tomorrow afternoon, because we don't do mornings here. Midday local time, 10 GMT for the men's skeleton race, and two-man bob later on Saturday afternoon. Till then, from all of us here in Sigulda, it's goodbye for now.